Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
'Well, hello and welcome to episode 203 of There's Still Time, the AFTN soccer show. I'm your host Michael McCall, and I'm going to be bringing you a little bit of a preview podcast for the Whitecaps games this coming weekend against Minnesota United in MLS action and against OKC Energy in USL action. After a spell of home games, the Caps are heading back out on the road in MLS action, back-to-back away games coming up. Both of them against Eastern Conference opposition. Chicago Fire next week, Bastian Schweinsteiger and all of that. But first up this week is Minnesota United. One of the two new boys in MLS this season. And safe to say it hasn't been the ideal start for them. But they are showing some signs of recovery. And it could be that the Caps are kind of meeting them not at the ideal time. Fresh from a 3-2 victory on Wednesday night against more Cascadia opposition and Portland Timbers in Minnesota. Had the lead 3 times in that game, finished the game with 10 men, but a really good overall performance for Minnesota. It was a win that moved them to 9th in the Western Conference standings. A couple of places and 3 points behind the Whitecaps. And the way that this team started this season, it looked like they were going to be the whipping boys in the West. It hasn't quite turned out that way. Their first 4 games, though, I mean, it was horrendous. 18 goals conceded, 5 in the first one, 6 in the second one. And you're kind of thinking to yourself, what is this team? Have they completely unprepared for going into MLS, or are they just struggling to find their feet? And I think we have seen in recent weeks that they are now starting to find their feet, find their groove. You can be pretty sure that Adrian Heath is going to be busy in the summer transfer window making new additions to the team. They've got a couple of really dangerous guys that the Caps need to watch out for. Christian Ramirez played with Minnesota during the USL days before coming to MLS, and he got his 9th goal of the season against Portland on Wednesday night. Really on fire at the moment, 9 goals, 1 assist so far. Not far behind him is another man that Adrian Heath knows well from his Orlando City days, Kevin Molino. His 3rd season in MLS, and he has 5 goals for Minnesota this year. 4 assists as well. He's leading the team in assists. These are the 2 danger guys that the Caps are going to have to watch for. 22 goals for Minnesota this year, 36 against, worst in the league, although Real Salt Lake are catching them up pretty quickly now. And Minnesota's only kept 3 clean sheets on the year. Still to get their first road win, but at home, they are looking something of a formidable force. Wednesday's win against Portland was their 5th home win of the season. 3 defeats at home as well. But all their wins so far this year, coming at home, they're going into this game confident, wanting to knock off back-to-back Cascadia opposition. Will they do it? Well, I know one man that's really going to be up for this game, and that is Minnesota United's first-team goalkeeper coach and director of goalkeeping for the Minnesota Academy. A guy very well known to Whitecaps fans. 5.5 years spent with Vancouver before making the move to Minnesota this off-season. Marius Røvde. And Marius is a guy that I know a lot of people in Vancouver miss. Larger-than-life personality, great guy to speak to. Great goalkeeping coach as well. He's worked hard with the goalkeepers, done a lot of good scouting for the Whitecaps goalkeepers as well. Now in Minnesota, seems to be really enjoying his time there. and we got a chance to catch up with Marius on Thursday. So let's hear what he had to say. So I guess first thing to really ask you, Marius, is the move came as a little bit of a surprise to a number of people here. But what was behind you deciding to leave the Caps after 5.5 years? Was it just time for a new adventure?
Yeah, it was a combination of different things. Like I was no secret. I wanted a little bit longer commitment from the Whitecaps, and I felt like it's too many short-term deals, and then I knew the guys in Minnesota. I think it was exciting, and I was curious how the life is in US is, and heard a lot of good things about Minnesota and Minneapolis, and people say to me like that's like almost like moving home to Norway, but it's much bigger. So and it's true. It's very friendly. A lot of Norwegians, Swedish, Scandinavian in general, and so I felt it was maybe good timing. I had the good years in Vancouver, and I was very close to the fans and many of the players and staff, and just think it was maybe okay to move, and when the memories were good.
So looking back at your time here, you came here initially during the inaugural season, and then you've been through a lot of highs, a lot of lows. What's kind of your standout memories from your time here?
So I remember my first big away game away against Seattle when Eric Hasley, when we actually had lost the game and he hammered the one up in the top corner, the crazy goal.
Oh yeah.
In Seattle, and then I also remember all the wins in Portland and Seattle. They are special, like and Ikutas goals there and pass, heel flicks, and all this madness. and it was, of course, I remember like the atmosphere and the feeling before the Portland game in the playoff at home. It ended up as a disaster, but it was a great memory till the game was finished, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of good memories. Great. Some of the camps I had with all the kids in the summer. The kids were so loyal, and so many came out. And I remember open practice with the kids and parents, and suddenly 300 people are behind the goal, before we have a goalkeeper session, and just like general how you get welcomed of the people. And same like in Port Moody, great people like I met in Port Moody Soccer Club, to my kids playing there, unbelievable, like where you have Johnny Celentic up there coaching my son for a year, done a fantastic job, and now all the people, you have so many memories and so many good friends from there, so it's I have as many friends there now as I had when I left Norway, so but it's like kind of like almost like when you see if you're going home, it's become a second home.
Yeah. What are your feelings and emotions like then heading into this game at the weekend?
No, it's no secret. I'm watching first thing when I open and checking MLS live on my app on my phone and things. When we play games, I'm always checking how Vancouver did and things like that. And like maybe the first month, I was like, yes, they lost, like good for them, like. And then you kind of coming out of that, and you're thinking, I know you want them to do well, like it's because it's so many good people there. So it's, first you want them to lose, and then it changes. You're growing into it, and you're like, no, you want them to do well. So and like you have David Ousted, who's one of my better friends, and my family is close to the Ousted family. So they're actually his wife and his kids are coming here. We picked them up at the airport in an hour, coming from Europe.
Oh, wow.
And my daughter stays at David now. So David and my daughter is home alone in Vancouver now, so I hope he's treating her well. So it's very, very close, and all the goalkeepers I had there as well, like I've been looking after them, like feel like you become a little bit like your kids, goalkeepers, and it started with like Simon Thomas. I sent him to Norway now. He's played there, playing for a good club there. Then I took Marco Carducci with me.
Yeah.
We could sign him here as a third, but I think it was better for him to play. So I sent him to Paul Rogers, the goalkeeper coach in Houston, so he can play USL there. And last year I did the same with Callum Irvin, got him the USL job in Houston. So yeah. So and then you're kind of, when you suddenly is in the other MLS club, then you kind of have to stop talking to him, because you don't want anybody to like think it's that you're trying to fish players and things, but you're really, really good friends talking to your kids. So, and when they are in trouble or they haven't done well or they're struggling a little bit, then they're ending up calling me and we talk about it and things. And so you kind of you're still a goalkeeper coach kind of in the mind. Like
yeah. So can we take it then that you know all of like David's weaknesses for heading into this one?
Yeah, I know his weaknesses, but it's not much weaknesses. It's like he don't have much weaknesses. He's so prepared and in good hands now as well. So he's so prepared. So you don't have big weaknesses, but you never know of the day. Like you if you remember the games. Vancouver, I played in Dallas. There is like they always score on David down in Dallas, and they always done it. And it's the type of shots who's coming. Doesn't matter how good you are. If you get the wrong types of shots, you can't shine. Like if somebody hammer it up under the crossbar and pop or bend it in the far corner, and you can't save everything. Doesn't matter how good you are. So you have. Hopefully we find the right type of shots and get him by him. We have good finishers up front. So
now, it was a tough start to Minnesota's MLS campaign. 18 goals in this first 4 games. What was going, as a goalkeeper coach, what's going through your mind when the team's conceding that much?
So I'm looking at the goals, I think, because my job is the goalkeepers. That's what I concern most about first, and then I look. And I'm thinking, like, what could we do better? And then I'm looking at the type of finishing. It's like, then you're ending up seeing, like, you have, like, 20, 25 shots against you, and 4 or 5 go in. Like, it has been tough for them, for the goalkeepers. And for me, it's like to keep them grounded and use video, show them all the goals, go through them, be critical, say, could we have done something different? Could we have communicated more, get the fullbacks in? Could we done something different before it came to a chance? Or you have to do all these things, and then and I think it's easier to concede 4 or 5 goals for a goalkeeper. He will hate it, but I think it's easier when you actually is honest with yourself and look and say, like, hey, I maybe could have saved number 4, but 1, 2, and 3, and no chance. Like, and then when you concede number 4 and 5 in the 86th and the 88th, like the game was over. I think they are okay. Like, and then we have got Bobby Shuttleworth in, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed of the steps he has taken, like, all the time. I feel he gets better and better every week, like, and he loved the training. He loved day-to-day training, be in the dressing room. He loved come on the field, loved new exercises. He just wants to work. Like, he's almost like a 20-year-old. and extreme physique as well, and speed and reactions, and so he completely different type of goalkeeper than David, but I see he very, very good and want to be really good, and is in a good place in his mind, and has a chip on his shoulder, want to prove something, and so he has actually been fantastic for us. If you look at stats, he had like between 7 and 10 saves every game. So
yeah. The team seems to have really turned things around. You've got 5 wins at home. You had a great win against Portland just yesterday. What do you put down to the turnaround being? Is it just that the team's got more comfortable in the surroundings, or have you worked hard at trying to change some things?
Yeah, it's if you look at it, the first 2 games, if you look at the starting 11 there, the first 2 games, and the starting 11 now, it's like it's 3 players left. From that, so been big changes of players.
Okay.
Starting 11, so we have kind of had to try to stop the bleeding and change things up. And sometimes you sign players you think will be fantastic, and they don't work out. And sometimes you have a squad player you think will be a squad player, and then he suddenly be a local star. So it's hard to predict who makes it and not makes it. So. But now we have found a better mix, and if you look at it, we have won 5 games at home and lost 6 away. So, and I looked at the standings today in the West. It's actually 6 teams who have lost 6 games or more.
Yeah.
So it's not only us who have lost all the away games, and MLS is funny like that. If you're not really up for it and have the wind in your back, you will not win. You will not win away. Like Portland, I think, tried to cheat a little bit yesterday and came with their fantastic front 6, and maybe with the worst back 4 I've seen them come with ever. But I think they were thinking they could win with that front fire.
Yeah.
And they couldn't. You will lose away games if you don't come with a proper defense in MLS. So I don't remember who it was, but it's one team in our investor have even lost 7 games away from home. So it's very close, and we win this game. Suddenly we are above Vancouver, like so.
Yeah.
It's very, and then we have 5 home games now in July.
Oh wow!
So we haven't planned with getting worse at home. So if you go a string of wins there, like you never know. Like when you're suddenly sitting up there, it's hard to win games on the row as well, and win and not lose. If you can win 3-4 on the row at home, you get the confidence, and you can maybe bring that into the coming away games.
Yeah, it's a strange league. You just have to string a few results together and you're really climbing up the table. And you seem to have a couple of really dangerous guys. Christian Ramirez has been phenomenal this year, and Kevin Molino as well. I mean, they certainly stand out as being the 2 danger guys on your team.
Yeah, they are special players. Like Ramirez is a phenomenal finisher and a poacher, and like he finds the goal, like, and doesn't matter, like left or right, header or anything, running in space behind, coming short, turn up. So he's like almost like a taller, bigger version of Wondolowski, almost in the box. So, but maybe with a little bit better technique. So also he's great, and Molino is gifted. He kind of have everything, and he's a great player and a good guy. And no, but it's more players like them. You have maybe the best, or I will say the best, best defensive midfielder in the league. Central midfielder Sam Cronin. He's incredible. He has really impressed me. Then we have Ibson, who is like an artist on the ball. Like he He is the oldest man, but he's running 11K every game and desperate to win. Always so good on the ball. Like, he never stopped amazing me. He just wants to win and win and win. Like, he is desperate to win. So you have some good characters. And
just the last thing from me, have you had much banter or much texts with Robbo or Perty or anyone at the Caps this week?
I know I had some messages to Perty, and I know Gordon Forrest is away.
Yeah.
So he's away, so I probably did even more if he had been here, because then I could bug him more, but he's sleeping when I'm sending him messages always, so don't get hold of him. But no, I had a little bit with Martin Pert. I just told him what formation they will play and who will play. Just told him his team. No, yeah. It's not. It hasn't been much. I will probably meet up with Martin and have a cup of coffee and just quick chat with him and things. But let them work with their team and concentrate.
Yeah.
Focus on themselves, and then we can take it after the game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too hard to work out the team. There's not that many healthy bodies left here. But thank you so much for doing this, Marius. I can't wish you good luck on Saturday, but good luck for the rest of this season, and hopefully we'll talk to you when you head through here in September.
Yeah, we'll see you again. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks so much, Marius. Always a lot of fun to catch up with Marius Røvde there. And 5.5 happy years spent in Vancouver. It was a little bit of a surprise when we heard that he was moving on. He's landed at a good club. It's always exciting to be at a club when they're just starting off their new journey. He came to the Whitecaps midway through our first season in 2011. Been a rough start, as we talked about there, but things are seemingly turning around for Minnesota. Scary thing though, despite that horrendous start to the season, they're only 3 points behind the Whitecaps, so a win on Saturday would take them level in points. Obviously a lot worse goal difference. They've conceded 36, so you have to hope that there is a little bit of hope for the Whitecaps to get some goals there. Caps have been playing really well on the road in recent weeks. The 4-1-4-1 formation is working well. I think I'll be quite surprised if there's much change to the starting lineup that started the game against FC Dallas last Saturday. You have to expect Andrew Jacobson and Tim Parker to be the centre-back pairing again. Christian Dean hasn't been training fully yet. He's still kind of doing some rehab and some laps round the track. Cole Seiler is still that possibility to kind of pitch him in with it being an away game, a little bit less pressure on him. At some point they do have to see how he is going to play as a centre-back in MLS. But a similar starting lineup definitely wouldn't be unexpected. And then you've got Alphonso Davies that can come on as a sub, Bernie Beanie as well, and then just play the rest of it by ear. Minnesota have scored in most of the games. 22 goals for on the season. That's actually 3 more than the Whitecaps as well. And as we talked with Marius about there, couple of real danger men in Christian Ramirez and Kevin Molino. 14 goals between them, and Molino also leads the team with 4 assists. They are missing a player in Dunlady that was sent off against the Timbers on Wednesday night. It is going to be a tough one for the Caps heading out there, first ever visit to Minnesota, but I am a little bit confident I'm going to go for a Whitecaps 2-1 win. So the first team's away from home this weekend, which means a perfect chance for you to get out and watch WFC 2, playing OKC Energy at Thunderbird Stadium on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock kick-off. And we should be seeing a new face in the Whitecaps 2 lineup as well. New Zealand international Myer Bevan, just returned from Korea playing for New Zealand in the Under-20 World Cup. Scored a couple of goals, including a cracker against Honduras after just 46 seconds, as New Zealand equalled their best ever performance in an Under-20 World Cup. The last one came when they were hosting it 2 years ago in New Zealand. Myer Bevan certainly impressed. He played in all New Zealand's games, got a couple of goals as we said, and he's now hoping to take that experience over to Vancouver, sign a deal just before the World Cup with WFC2. Haven't had a chance to see him in action yet, but he should make his debut in some capacity, starter or sub, on Saturday, you have to feel. And it's a very interesting journey for Bevan. Auckland lad, played locally for Auckland City youth teams and a couple of semi-pro teams in New Zealand. Then went into trials with the Nike Academy, came through that, ended up playing in England for a year with that academy before signing his first ever pro deal with WFC2. So I got a chance to chat with Myer at Whitecaps 2 training on Thursday, asked him just about his journey to Vancouver through the Nike Academy, that World Cup experience, and a lot more besides. So let's hear from Myer now. So Myer, finally in Vancouver after signing the deal a few weeks back. How does it feel to be out there at the moment with the guys?
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously it's new. Everything's new to me. Over here, different country, I mean everything's turf as well, but now I'm enjoying it. I'm liking the boys and the team, and now I'm enjoying my time here at the moment. Yeah.
And you signed a few weeks back just before the World Cup there. What was behind deciding to come over to North America? Because you obviously came through the system in New Zealand, you've been at the Nike Academy. What was it about coming here that really appealed?
Well, I actually couldn't get a visa in England or a passport, and my family have a Canadian heritage, so we looked to North America, and luckily this came up, and then came here before the World Cup, and yeah, luckily it worked out, and yeah, I'm happy to be here now.
Yeah, I watched an interview with you where you mentioned that you can get a Canadian passport. Yeah. So is that something that you're aiming to do, or does it just help getting a visa because you've got that heritage?
We're in the process of doing it now. I mean, it does help a lot to get a visa in Canada. I mean, obviously you can live here if you have a passport, so, and it helps a lot towards the league as well. So yeah, we're in the process of doing that now.
So what's your knowledge like of this league, the USL? Did you know anything about it before signing here?
Nah, not really. I knew a lot about the MLS, but not really the USL. But obviously, I just want to come in and hopefully work my way up and eventually get to the MLS. But yeah, I mean, I'm learning day by day about the league, and the players keep me updated every day. So no, yeah, it's a good league. Some teams are trying to get to the MLS, so it's basically it's like a second league in England or in Germany, so it's just that main goal of the MLS. It's like any second league.
And was that like one of the biggest lures for coming here? Because there is a set pathway, and a number of the guys, 4 of the guys from last year's team are on the MLS team now. Did you have other offers out there, or is that what helped you decide to come here?
Well, obviously that is the main goal, to get to the MLS. I signed it before the World Cup, just for myself. I mean, you're obviously going into the World Cup with nothing, you know, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot. We're looking to get a deal, but I signed before, and I was comfortable with the World Cup, and I mean, yeah, it's just I want to get to the MLS. In terms of other offers, I mean, that could have come with the World Cup if I didn't have a deal, but I'm happy that I've signed this one.
And obviously there's a couple of other Kiwis here. Declan's away just now with the national team, Francis de Vries as well. You were here for a couple of weeks, I know, on trial before you signed. Did you know either of those 2 guys before you came here?
I knew Dick. I played against Dick, and yeah, he's a good guy. I like Declan, but yeah, and Fran, I actually didn't know him before I came here, but now we get along well. I mean, yeah, they've both become my mates instantly just because of where we're from, and yeah, obviously Declan helped me out a bit when I was here because I already knew him, but Fran's been awesome as well. Yeah.
And I spoke to Declan about you just before he headed off, and he said for a New Zealand striker you're surprisingly good. So like coming through the system, how would you describe like football in New Zealand just now?
Well, I think it's developed a lot, and it's changing a lot with the style of play. I mean, we're always known as a long ball team, but like you saw, like if you watched the Mexico game the other day, I mean, they played well. They had a lot of chances to even win the game. I mean, for a New Zealand team to be like disappointed about not getting something out of a Mexico game, you know, it's a lot has changed. So, we're definitely on the rise, I think, in terms of football.
And you're just back from the World Cup. It must have been a fantastic experience. It was the first World Cup you've been involved in. Looking back on it, I know it's really fresh in your mind, but what's your overlasting thoughts from it?
It was like, you live like the player you want to live for a month, you know, you live like you're a superstar when you go over there, and it was awesome. It was all like us and the boys, we buzzed off it every day. I mean, we to get to where we got, like to equal the like history. Well, a New Zealand team has only got to the round of 16. Obviously, it was gutting to go out like that, like we did against the USA. Yeah. That's always fresh in my mind. But the World Cup in itself was awesome. I enjoyed myself, and there were some ups and downs. Obviously, beating Honduras was unbelievable, and yeah, I mean, obviously getting knocked out to the USA sucks, but I mean, we couldn't. It's just how it went, and you can't dwell on that. As a whole, it was an unbelievable experience.
And that Honduras game, 2 goals from yourself, the first one you got 46 seconds in, really put you kind of on everyone's radar if they hadn't heard about you before. Is that a goal that you're just going to play over and over in your head? Yeah, I mean, I've watched it too many times now, I think. So,
I would as well.
Yeah,
so I think, I mean, that's fair. To be fair, I didn't remember it at all. Like, I've always thought what I was going to do after if I scored, and honestly, all I remember is all the boys jumping on me. So I had to actually watch the goal to remember what happened. So it was just all a blur. But it was awesome. It happened so quickly. So yeah, it was awesome to get a goal that quickly and a goal like that. So yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about just kind of when you left New Zealand and the whole Nike Academy thing. So for people that don't know, the Nike Academy, it picks people from around the world, and I believe thing I read was there was 200 Kiwis that were up for it, and then you went to Paris and there was a limited number. Just talk us a little bit about that whole experience, how it came about, and just what that meant to your development.
Yeah, I mean, it's a local trial, like you trial against other Kiwi, like it's just anyone can go to the trial, and then it's like I think it was like 250 people, and then they narrow it down. By like lunchtime they've cut it, and then by like 2 o'clock they've cut it, and then you have like a final 11 v 11, and yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I went in there just to, you know, get some free Nike gear and have. Like, I didn't expect much, and then obviously winning it, I was buzzing, and because I hadn't played for my country at that point, and they normally pick a person that has played for their country and they have, you know, a bit about them on their resume, but they picked me, and I was buzzing. Went to Paris, and that's like you verse 25. I think it was 35 other players from all their different like respective countries that win their one. And then they choose from there, and to be fair, they chose 12. It's the biggest intake they've taken, and they chose me, luckily. So I went in there for the last year, and I mean, obviously I couldn't get a passport, so it messed me up a bit over there. But in terms of the experience, it was crazy. The facilities, the teams you play, the way you live, it's like the professional lifestyle. So yeah, it was crazy playing Liverpool, playing Swansea, Spartak Moscow, going to Russia, going to Portland. We went everywhere. Yeah, it was just unbelievable.
And before you came here, did you know much about Vancouver, or had you been to Canada before?
Nah, never. I mean, obviously my family have some of them are Canadian, and that's how I get my passport. They've talked to me about it, but I've never been here before. I mean, it's a beautiful city. I love it. It's a bit like back home, to be fair.
Declan said that as well, and Nazim said it's a lot like Cape Town in South Africa. Yeah. So a lot of the guys that come here do that. Now, you're back with the Caps just now, you're training this week. Hopefully you'll make your kind of debut on Saturday at the home game here. What are you expecting when you do take the pitch for the Caps?
I mean, I just take it how it comes. I mean, this first couple of weeks, just get myself going. I don't know when my first start will come, but yeah, I mean, I just want to get on the score sheet and just give the first team coach something to think about, and then hopefully work my way up. But I'm excited for the Saturday, especially at home. It will be a good game to make my debut if I'm to make my debut.
And just last thing, for anyone that's only seen a little bits of you, doesn't know much about you at all, how would you describe your game? What kind of striker forward are you?
That's always a hard question to answer, but I mean, I just feel like I like to think I'm a goal threat. Like I like to score goals, and obviously I was lucky enough to score at the World Cup, and I scored quite a few for the academy. I mean, as a striker, you just need to be a goal threat. So I think that's the biggest thing about that's your job, is to score goals. So I mean, as a striker, you got to back yourself to score goals and think you can score goals. So yeah, I mean, I'm there to score goals, and I believe I can.
Great, thank you so much for your time, Myer, and good luck.
Thank you.
So Myer Bevan there, the latest Whitecaps 2 signing. Third Kiwi on the team, as we said, and I'm looking forward to seeing him finally taking the pitch in a Whitecaps jersey. And a number of the Whitecaps 2 guys are away in Indiana at the moment at the Academy playoffs. There'll be no Gloria Amanda, there's no Baldy brothers, Tern Campbell. And with Amanda and Campbell away in particular, you have to feel that there's a good chance that Bevan might get the start on Saturday against OKC, but he should definitely see some time on the pitch at least. And the whole Nike Academy thing that we talked about there, it's something that really interests me. Not a big fan, obviously, of corporate branding of stuff, but Nike's done a lot of good work with this academy. It started up in 2009. They're based out of Burton-on-Trent in England and Staffordshire. And the goal of the programme is to take some of the best unsigned talent around the world, under 20 players, guys that don't have a professional team, get them into that full-time training environment. It's a revolving squad, so players come and go all the time. The ultimate aim is to try and find them a club and a pro deal. And as you heard there from Myer, some passport issues meant that he couldn't really get a deal over in England or Europe. So their loss is the Whitecaps' gain. I really do think the Whitecaps have a very exciting talent there. He's clearly hungry, wants to break into MLS, wants to get into the first team. Like what he said there as well about kind of wants to give Robbo something to think about. So let's hope he does. A couple of really notable players to come through the Nike Academy. Guy that will be known to MLS followers, David Ousted from Chicago Fire. And if you follow your Scottish football or if you've been watching the Confederations Cup, Australian striker Tom Rogic is over playing for Australia just now, scored in the Confederations Cup, had a great season with Celtic up in the Scottish Premier League. So there's been a couple of good guys come out of it, and hopefully Myer Bevan is another one of those that we'll be talking about in years to come. Certainly the Whitecaps could definitely do with a prolific goal scorer just now, and Gloria Amanda's another guy in Whitecaps 2 that we have high hopes for. So I'm looking forward to seeing Myer in action. So just before we go, I want to give a big shout out to Vancouver Whitecaps Residency. Both the under-16s and the under-18s in action today, their first game of this year's Academy playoffs. Fantastic 3-0 win for the under-16s. Couple of goals from Jose Hernandez, that's the top scorer for the under-16s, grabbing his 19th and 20th goals of the season from 27 appearances. Definitely talking of goal-scoring prospects, he's one of them. Born in Mexico, moved to Edmonton, came through the youth ranks in Edmonton before moving out to join the Residency programme. Looking forward to seeing his development in the Residency in the years to come. Jefferson Alad was the third player to find the score sheet for the U16s today, and a fantastic 3-0 win over Houston Dynamo, getting their group campaign off to a fantastic start. 2 games left to go on Saturday and Monday against Philadelphia Union and the LA Galaxy. Lot to play for. Hopefully we're going to see the under-16s through to the knockout stages. And what a win it was for the under-18s as well. 3-1 triumph over Columbus Crew. Roller coaster of a game. Whitecaps dominated from the start. Should have been a couple of goals up in the first 10 minutes, had a shot crash off the bar. Then not long before half-time, Columbus went down to 10 men. Brutal tackle on Gloria Amanda as he was straight in on goal. Straight red card. Subsequent free kick was a fantastic save. And then you started to think, it's okay, the Caps are going to kind of be pretty dominant in the second half and get this job done. But then against the run of play, 10-man Columbus, 65 minutes gone, take the lead. And it's looking a bit rough. In these kind of short playoff, three-game group games, if you lose your first game, it's very, very hard to try and recover enough to get yourself into the knockout stages. So it was looking tough for the 18s. And the fact that they brought down 5 USL players to start, you were looking for more, you were hoping for more, you were expecting more. But the Whitecaps showed their class in the final 10 minutes. 3 goals. Baldissimo with the first. Nice finishing at the bottom corner. Theo Bair getting the second after putting away a great cross from Alan Camacho. And then Gloria Amanda, a great solo effort to make it 3-1 and wrap the game up. And Theo Bair was the difference maker when he came on. Some fantastic play for him out in the right wing. Columbus had no answer for him. Great 3-1 victory. 2 fantastic victories for the Residency to kick off the first day of the Academy playoffs. Can we get both teams into the knockout stages for the first time? fingers crossed. Good to see the matches streamed this year as well. Don't have to kind of scramble around on Twitter trying to find score updates, so that's been good as well. Some good quality feeds. And if you're talking about top quality feeds, do they come much better in the PDL than TSS Rovers? I'm not so sure. Obviously we're slightly biased, presented by AFTN, myself and Gideon Hill on the commentary for the games. And a big weekend coming up for TSS Rovers. If you want to get your live football fix, we talked about WFC2 on Saturday. Get yourself to Swangard Stadium on Friday and Sunday night. 7 o'clock kick-off both nights. The Sunday game has been pushed back an hour. Victoria Highlanders coming to town. The Juan de Fuca plate has been revived. Rovers and Highlanders are going to battle it out. 3 games this year. Best head-to-head record between the two teams will lift the Juan de Fuca plate. Check out AFTN.ca for a brief history of the play and some photos and videos of years gone by. It's the first time for 3 years that the plate's going to have been contested. We're really looking forward to calling the game, seeing the 2 games this weekend, how they play out. It's always been presented on Vancouver soil, so hopefully if TSS Rovers can come away with the 2 wins over the Friday-Sunday, we're going to see that happen again. If you haven't had a chance to get out to a TSS Rovers game yet, this is an ideal chance to do that. $10 admission, 7 for children, 3 home games left, these 2 against the Highlanders, then an end-of-season encounter with Seattle Sounders. Going to be a beautiful night for watching football as well. Swangard's a fantastic setting. Get along, cheer on a bunch of local guys, Canadians for Canadians. Undefeated at Swangard Stadium, so get along and help TSS Rovers defend the Swan. We'll have full coverage of the Whitecaps MLS and USL games this weekend on AFTN. Also full coverage of TSS Rovers and the Academy. So check AFTN.ca this week for all that stuff, a lot more besides. Away from the Numbers always has everything covered, as does bcsoccerweb.com. This podcast is presented in partnership with BC Soccer Web, your one-stop site for all your local, national and international news and links. Check them out on bcsoccerweb.com. I'm Michael McCall, hope you've enjoyed this episode of the show. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. Drop us an email, anything you want to chat or ask about, aftncanada@hotmail.com. We'll be back on Sunday with the AFTN Soccer Show on CITR Radio, broadcasting live from UBC, 101.9 FM, CITR.ca online, 11 o'clock every Sunday. Check that out if you haven't already. Podcast for that will be up on Monday. But as always, thanks for listening to this episode of the show. Take care. And mon the Caps.
One day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.